Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. There's news coming in about a minute or so. It is June the 19th. We're just going to let this come through and then we'll go about our day. Some housing numbers coming through. It should not impact what we're doing, but we'll just let that happen. And then we'll go about our business. We had a pretty good week so far. You don't want to trip that up.
10 seconds.
10 seconds for the news.
$43, lower than forecast, 46.
Right, so there we go. News is out. Let's go about our day. On the daily scale of things, we have an inside bar to yesterday, which is bullish by definition. It is a doji, so it's a doji inside of a doji. We kind of have to take that with a grain of salt. You know, the bullishness is wearing off. Today is a holiday. It's a bank holiday in the United States, so volatility is greatly diminished. But that doesn't mean anything can't happen, right? So take that into consideration. I'm going to play this to the short side just because for the last 2 days we've been unable to make highs. Like we've been unable. Yesterday we gave it all back, and today we can't even catch up without the American traders. All right, so with North America missing, we can't get to the higher high as of yet. And so I'm thinking I need to sell this. And so when I look at this on an intraday scale, right, we can see higher highs, higher lows, and all of a sudden we can't make a higher high. And so we're going to be making a lower low maybe. Right. So when I measure this, a lower low, for the average day brings me down here somewhere. A higher high for the average day brings us near 790.
We have posted the NAHB housing market June reports on the feed for anybody interested.
All right, so if this is to continue, maybe we're going up in this area here, 790. If this is to fail to make a higher high, let's draw a line there. That'll be our ceiling. And this is our existing ceiling. And within that, we actually have an even tighter one right there. All right, so within the next hour or so, we're looking to either bounce off of this or break through that. And likewise, we have a floor and we have one right there. And so if we zoom into this on a 5-minute scale, which is more applicable to the scale of things we are willing to operate in, all of a sudden inside of this, I can start to pick off levels that were important before and may be important again in the future, right? So already I've just created a ladder, and now we're waiting to see if we're going down the ladder or if we're climbing the ladder, right? And the fact that we're unable to get here in the last 16 hours without any US participants, right? This is all Asians and European traders. And so the inability to do this prior to the bank holiday kind of gives me an idea that I need to sell. Right, so let's highlight this right there. And if we get there, I sell. All right, so when I'm looking here on the 1 minute, this same area here is represented by this box. Right? From this low to this swing high here, I would have a box. And this is just a unit of measure. Right? So if we're going up, I sell. If we're going up 2 boxes, I continue to sell. right? If it's going up 3 boxes and 4 boxes, I continue to sell. And so I've made up my mind. I'm a seller. And basically, if we go back to the higher time frame just for a second and look at it through a different lens. Whoops. Let's look at this with a Fibonacci. We made it to 38 yesterday. It held yesterday. We're unable to get through here. Right, so that's an important criteria. And then if I just look at the most recent swing, we made it to 50. Same concept, right? It held. We're unable to get through there. If we get through here, the next target would be the 61. Right, there's that 785, 790, 783. All right, so we have a range 4 boxes above, and I'm anticipating we kind of retrace this and we may end up down here instead. Right, so if not today, maybe tomorrow. I'm a seller in order to end up lower in time. Okay, so let's go back to our 5 minutes. We have our ladder for the time being. This is what we're trying to do. I'm looking at this here. Right, so we're trying to go up or down according to this. And then we'll see what happens. Come on. In time. Maybe I'll put this one here. Okay, so over here, we want to be selling green candles, tops of green candles when it's at some kind of support / resistance. Something like this right there. All right, so if I put a line here, oh, we've been there before. If we go there again, I sell it. Right, same target as always. Here's a green candle. I'm going to sell the green candle as is. If we go higher, I'll sell more. Right, so I'm assuming this is a low and I'm selling up to here. That's my box 1. Right, I don't need box 2 unless we go into box 2. Right? I'm assuming this is just a sideways move and I want to sell it. Okay, so here's an opportunity to put click number 2. Even on a super duper slow day, there's still opportunities. Okay. And if we find our way up to, what did I measure on the Fibonacci? I think we were looking at something up here, 780. From right now to there, it happens to be, look at that, 37 pips. 4 boxes, right? So if you don't want to use 4 boxes, wait if we make a high, right? If we make a new high, you can participate on the way there on the sell side, right? We don't want to be chasing this up because we don't know if it's even going here. We do, however, have the bigger picture in mind. You know, we are making a downtrend for now, right? On the bigger scale. So that's kind of the idea, right? We're trading a range within a range. Some people see it as a trend within a trend. So click number 2. Right, click number 2, click number 1. The target is 3 pips away. You can see how far away that looks on a day like today. That's tremendous. That's huge, right? average bars are not even 1 pip. And it is 8 o'clock in the morning, my time, right? The US markets are open. The European traders are still at their desk. So there's still, this is the kind of day where if you can take the day off, take the day off. Go to the beach, go climb the mountains, go do something. Build ships in a bottle. The market is moving. And so the opportunities are, still there, but greatly diminished. And again, anything can happen. So don't expect to make big bucks today. That doesn't mean we can't make winners. It's just going to take longer. If we go and take a peek at yesterday, this is what we did yesterday. One trade took forever to close. One of the trades that I took before my start time, it took forever to close. These early trades always are the ones that tend to get me into trouble. With the stuff that I do within my 2-hour window tends to work out a lot better. So fast forward to now, it's having a hard time going higher. Okay, so I'm going to play the short side. And when the market comes back online in the Asia session, we resume what we had in the works already. So if we go, let's say intermediate time frame, 4 hours, we're trapped between the 50%, the 38. We have to make a decision today, within the next couple of 4-hour candles. We have to figure out if we're going higher or going lower. And in either scenario, I'm a seller, right? So either I begin selling right now or I continue to sell all the way up to here looking for this. All right, so our job right now is to sell this. We don't want to buy this. We want to sell, 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 because we don't know if it's even going to go all the way there. And so if we are selling and it fails to go all the way, we're already making money. If we're wrong on selling, then a bullish move would go against all of this. Right, so it's a lower probability. The sell is the higher probability. It's a matter of time. Probably get rid of this now. Probably get rid of this. This right here, the doji inside of yesterday is somewhat negative looking. And we have to break the high to even anticipate something more. Just thinking out loud. And there's one more here. It stretches all the way there. Right. So if we had normal size bars, normal day, we'd be moving in a downward direction. We are making lower highs, lower lows on the 5-minute chart. And so, the proof is in the pudding. When we start breaking the ladder, when we start breaking the ceiling or the floor, things are beginning to change. And it's a chance for us to adjust. Just sneak a peek at the dollar index real quick. So on the 4-hour scale, the dollar is at support. The dollar index is at support. And we're looking to bounce off of this. Right? And that should help our euro go down. If I look at the yields for a reason to bounce, the yields themselves are at support as we speak. So there's a possibility of a bounce here unless we make a lower low. Right? Unless we make a lower low, we're bouncing. So that's one way of looking at it. Right? The counterparty to what we're trying to do here with the euro. Try keep it as simple as possible. We want to keep things less complicated, the better. Stuff you can do with a pencil and a paper. So we've got two trades, and they're really going nowhere. The bars themselves are not doing anything. The trades are not doing anything. I'm on the 1-minute chart, and it feels like we're watching paint dry or watching grass grow. In my case, I'm watching snow melt. It can get tedious, right? The box doesn't change, but you can see how this is so different from yesterday's boxes. Right? Boxes yesterday only had a few bars in them, like this, compared to 60 small bars. In the end, it delivers standard moves, or maybe fractions of a standard move, like a half.
So we're looking now to the crypto fear and greed index, 64 out of 100, which indicates greed.
This is what he's speaking of, right there. Really is the only thing to be looking at. Right, to the moon. And if it gets to 61%, on the way there, I will have built a short position waiting for the next leg down. Right? The elections in Europe are still there. Nothing's finished. Nothing, it's the risk still exists. No, nothing has changed from yesterday. Must be a holiday today. It's a very small crowd in the room. So it sounds silly, I'm looking for a market to go lower. And at the same time, I'm kind of looking forward to see it go up so I can take part. I can sell. So it's almost like we're speaking double Dutch, right? We have one track in our mind and we have the facts, and the two sometimes don't match up. You're trading a trend within a trend. Or if you look at it more as a range within a range, this 1 minute bar, the range is a 1 minute range. This right there, the range is 0.7 pips. So we are trading a 1 minute range within this range. That's within this range, which is within, a much bigger range, which is, it's a range within a range. Once you let that sink in, everything else kind of settles, because you'll be bouncing off the edges more than you try to break the edges. And we see it all the time, right? Sideways markets are more common than trending moves or expansions. So we want to trade consolidations. So if we get there, that'll be my 2 boxes, or that'll be, sorry, 2 more trades. Fulfill my dance card. Actually, I'll take one right now because of this. And so if we go higher into this zone or this zone, I'll sell, right? I'll sell top of the box and this as well. Right? So the plan is really, really simple. I remain a seller all the way up to 780 or so. Where's that 50%? Yeah, 782. Right. So if it push a little bit higher, I may have to lose 1 or 2 here. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Maybe we don't even go this far, right? Maybe we tap out at 50% like we did yesterday. And maybe we stay unable to make a higher high. On a day like today, anything's possible. I say that every day, so nothing new. Slight push higher. I've already got 4 clicks. Oh, I've only got 3. It's because it's aggregate, that's why. I'll take a 4th one if it pushes back up. We can hear the tick, 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 the tick strike. It's really quiet today. No order blocks coming through. Oops. Did not want to do that. There we go. So I'm looking to see if we find our way up to here. Or a little bit higher. Right, this area here. And I can sell that. Today is not the day to make up for your losses. Here it comes, here it comes. Number 4. So now let's see what happens with the next box. Are we going to exit and go up to here? Or are we just going to go sideways and kind of fade away? Right? It is the bottom of the hour. This is when I typically find the pullback / reversal / event that I'm looking for. I usually build a position looking for the bottom of the hour. And so this is when either I extend what I'm doing or I start to get paid for it. What comes next is up to the market. Ooh, let's see. Beautiful, eh? Isn't that just gorgeous? That's like a pinup right there. You want to, oh man, that floats my boat. Yeah, bank holiday. It's a newer holiday too. So a lot of people are not used to this particular holiday. And a lot of older traders have never traded Juneteenth. Yeah, it's a typical holiday evolving, right? It's unfolding the same as any other holiday on the calendar. The catch is who's not here and who can take advantage of the situation. And so usually what we end up with are market makers that are pushing the extremes, right? Because there's nobody here to be counterparty to that mischief, right? There's nobody here to put through big order blocks and stop the mayhem. Yeah, just the top down to reiterate. Yesterday, we stopped at 50%. And today, over the last 16 hours or so, including a North American holiday, the euro's been unable to take yesterday's high. And so I'm making an assumption that bearish is more likely. Otherwise, we'd be here by now. And so if we are going there, I'm going to sell into it. Right. So I'm a seller on the way to 61 because I want to get this in my pocket next. Right. So then when I look at this intraday, we have the high from yesterday, which is our ceiling. We have our floor from today's low, I suppose. We have today's high, which we tested 3 hours. And so if we cannot take this, we're likely going down, right? If we take this, then I'm selling on the way up, right? Selling on the way up. That's why people call me crazy, right? I don't want to chase this on the way up because I don't know how up I don't know how far it's going. For all I know, I buy and it fails to break and it flops. If you want to buy buy a break. I don't buy breaks anymore. I fix breaks because if it breaks this, it will have resistance here. And so in that space, we can either be right and be wrong or both. No, I can make 3 pips and I can play ping pong, is what I'm saying. Okay? But we have to break first. And if we don't break the previous high, we're not testing yesterday's high. So then when I look at this on the 5 minutes, just as of late, we were making lower highs and lower lows. And just now, over the last 20 minutes or so, we're rotating, right? Let's see if we can overtake the high. If we can't take this over here, maybe we're coming back down. If we do take it, it's not going to the moon. It's likely only going to try, with any kind of help, to go to 61%. And today might be the day because there's no North American traders. Right. So this is the plan, right? The idea is to have an alternative for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Right. So if the market's going up, I'm selling it. If the market's going down, my sells kind of make me money. And if I'm wrong with the direction overall, I start to lose at 61 or beyond. Right. So I have limited my risk. I defined it. I define an amount of space that I'm willing to operate within. And it's up to me now to spend that money in that space. And on a day like today, don't expect to get a bazillion trades fired off. Right? I've only got 4, and I've yet to make a single profitable trade in 35 minutes. We usually have a winner in the first 10 minutes or so. Right? So yeah, today's a day to maybe build a position and go hang out with your friends. Go enjoy the holidays. Right? So we've moved 9 pips. Are we going to move another 9 pips and then 27 and ultimately 36? We'll see. The average daily range just for today, 29 pips so far. Right? It's about 45% of an average day. What is the average day? According to my MT4 platform, it should be about 76 pips. Here it's looking at 65. Here it's looking at 14 simple, and my MT4 platform is looking at something else. It's a different calculation. It's in the ballpark. That's what I'm saying. Right, so we're ready to do this. Everybody with me? It's really simple, right? It's just going to be tedious. This is not going to the moon today. And so whatever happens today, we pick a side, hopefully the better of the two. We make some money. If we pick the wrong side, it's not running away from us. So we can fix it in time, right? We can average our way out. Nothing here is a situation for panic or anxiety, or we just limit the risk. And then if the risk gets triggered, take it off, remove the trade, and then you don't have to feel bad for doing a good job. All right, there we go. Maybe this is what's coming next. I'll put this here just in case. Catch the move up if we have one. Maybe this should have been over this way a little bit. It still looks too good to be true. I must be cheating. This must be black magic, witchcraft. Something's not right. Something's not right. This was the 1800s. I'd be burnt at the stakes right now. I'd be standing on a big pile of wood. Yeah. And I used to have a black cat too. Man, oh man. I'm doing everything wrong. Yeah. Create the outcome you're looking for. Right? This is just a river of information. It's a flow of information. We have to find a way or ways of filtering the information so that you can extract the value, get rid of the noise. And not every time frame is suitable for trading, nor for the amount of money you have to work with. And so that's one big consideration that people neglect. The fun is when there's volatility and you have a process. You know your rules inside out. You feel victorious at the end of the day. A day like today, you're content, but it's not really a battle. It's more like a walk in the park, and you're on the lookout for a mugger. Fear of the unknown. Right? It's what we learn to manage. Slow, 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 slow. Turn up the music. Right. Yesterday was contained. We kind of have a clue where we're wrong. Or if you want to be wrong, this is where you need to be taking your losses, right? Inside of this box, if you break this box, this is where you want to be taking cheap losses. If you want to put up a fight, like what I normally do, then you're going to be using the other two boxes. It's up to you. Lose cheap and come back tomorrow and do it again. Or put up a fight and maybe You win today and tomorrow. Tomorrow. It's only a lost cause when you have no money to fix your problems with. Eventually, the account is so small, it's not even worth trading anymore. Like you need to put a top up. This is just demonstrating what you can do, right? Even with a small amount of money, you can still grow something over time. Right? But you, because the account is small, you'll be tempted to put the cart before the horse. And that's how you end up blowing up the account. Right? It boils down to discipline. You have a lot less room for error when the account is small. If you have a large account and you trade small, you have almost unlimited space. And so almost at 10,000 pips in the account. Love it. Consistent losses, semi-consistent wins. And this is not over yet. This was our drawdown from that gap, which we survived. So let's get back on the horse and continue to ride. All right, so all of this slow volatility will resume with the Asia session. And so those of you in Europe, tomorrow morning will be a much busier day for you guys. Likewise for us tomorrow. So let's see what comes of this. All right, are we at support and going up? Is this area here support and we're going up? Or is this area here resistance? And we're kind of trapped and going down. Let's see what happens here. Either way, I'm a seller. So I kind of already know what I'm doing. I just don't know where I need to do it. And I have a clue as to when I need to stop doing it. Right, so I defined my risk. I defined my direction. I made sure the calendar was not going to interfere with any of this. On a day like today, it's quite the opposite. The calendar is what's interfering with the plan. And so, yeah, you know, situational awareness. Extremely boring day today. Perfect day to have fun with family and friends. So maybe I'll hang out for another 15 minutes or so, and then we'll stop the recording early. And we have a pretty good strategy. We have a pretty good plan. We know where we're wrong, you know, above 782, I think it is. 782, so call that 783. Right? Start booking losses up here because of what we're doing here. Right? So if you're following along, we are sellers for the next 4 boxes. If we need to even go that way, make that far. Otherwise, the destination, maybe tomorrow or Friday, remains around the 640 area, which is what we had highlighted. I think it was yesterday. We have to get through here first. That's our lower trend line from our triangle. So let's trade the facts and see what ends up this, where that leads us. Sell on the way up so that we can profit from the way back down, the next leg down. So if this is a leg up, we're building a short into it. Just common behavior, common practice for what we do. And nothing here is different. Nothing here is weird or absurd. If we're wrong and we needed to buy instead, we will know when we're not coming back to break even. And that's when we start to book losses, right? That's when you start to eject. And you're not ejecting everything at once. You're ejecting one box at a time, or the trades within one box at a time. I'll put a fifth right there on the edge of the box, just because of what we have here. This right there. And if I can move this up, it's easier to see. Yeah, there, it's easier to see. It'd be nice to close a winner today. Otherwise, we end up building and building and building and building. We lay out a trap so that we can get paid from the next move. Right. So if there is a breakout from here and we're selling all of this, it's because we expect a breakout to come back, a retest. And this is when we get paid. In 10 minutes or so, that'll be the top of the hour. That'll be the London fix that we trade into. The bottom of the hour gave us this. And I'm thinking maybe the top of the hour might resume. Wow. It's rare. We spend an hour together, only have 5 trades, and none of them closed. Put that in your journal. Holiday trading. The squawk box is extremely quiet. The Bank of Canada has minutes at 11:30. Then New Zealand is on the board when the market reopens in Asia. So extremely quiet day today. So we have the Bank of Canada, followed by New Zealand when the market reopens. This is not going to be a high flyer. Yeah. See, anything else we need to cover before we go? Calendar we looked at. Dollar index, one last quick look. Dollar index is testing the moving average, which is the 50 moving average. It's also testing support / resistance. Yields are also holding at support. Let's see what comes of this. Okay, we either have a breakdown or we hold and we bounce up momentarily. Right, so we've built a euro, or I'm building a euro position to take advantage of a dollar bounce. Right, so I'm thinking by the time the euro finds its way up to here, the US holiday might be over. Okay. So I'm going to leave you be. This is the plan of action, right? We want to sell resistance going into tomorrow. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Trade safe, trade small. Enjoy. Bye.